Okay, what I'm going to do, first thing you want to do when you start training a dog is you want to teach them a marking sound. Because it's been scientifically proven that we have 1.3 seconds to influence their behavior. So that means we have 1.3 seconds to reward a dog for behavior we want repeated, and 1.3 seconds to correct the dog for behavior we don't want repeated. If we don't reward or correct within that 1.3 seconds, the dog can't make the connection. So what we do to help with that is we teach the dog a marking sound. So the marking sound that I like to use is the word yes. Now some people use clickers, but I don't necessarily always have a clicker in my hand. So I have my mouth when I can always say the word yes to mark a behavior at any given time. So to teach the dog that sound, all I simply do is I lure the dog with the food, and then as they're looking up at it, I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to give them a reward. So it's yes, and then the reward follows. We don't want to pair the yes with the movement. We want to say yes, and then reward. And you'll learn when your dog starts to recognize this sound as a reward, they start to get excited. Yes. Yes. And I don't have to wait for her to look away. I can keep rewarding her. Yes. Because I want her to learn to continually look up at me. And I don't want them to get distracted and look down. Yes. 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 You want to switch hands too. Yes. 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 Free, good girl. And we really want to do that to make sure that when you say the word yes, they know that a reward is followed immediately after. So when you're teaching your dog to sit, down, stay, any sort of command, once they do the behavior, we use yes to mark it, and then the treat or the reward can follow afterwards. So you don't necessarily have to have a treat right in the dog's face within 1.3 seconds. We could say yes, and then give the dog. Alright, this is Coda, 8-week-old German Shepherd, and what I'm going to be showing you is some basic puppy imprinting tools that you can use if you want to train your dog to get to competition level, whether it's AKC, Schutzhund, PSA, French ring. These are some of the steps that you really want to do, especially if you're working a dog and you got to teach them how to do retrieve, or you got to teach them jumps. These are techniques that will help set you up for success. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate with her. Once again, she's 8 weeks old. She's just now starting training. We're going to do, it's called the finger hold. Basically what it is, it teaches the dog to calmly hold your finger in their mouth. It's the first step towards teaching a retrieve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get her in position. Now I'm not shoving my thumb into her mouth. I'm not forcefully doing it. I'm just making sure that she holds it calmly. So I'm not pinching or squeezing. Basically my thumb is going to just rest in her mouth. So you'll see she'll fight it for a minute, but once we get past that, then she'll calmly hold it and I'll reward her for that. So I say bring. I place my thumb in her mouth right behind the canines. And I wait while she sits there. Once she relaxes, I'll bring. Out. Yes, good girl. I tell her out, I bring it out, I say yes to mark the behavior, and then I reward her with a little treat. So I'm going to do it again. Bring. Out. Yes, good girl. Yes, a good girl. Oh, she dropped it. Come here, baby. You notice when I give her the treats, I have her look at my face as she's eating it. This helps teach the dog to look at you, something you'll need when you do focused healing. Bring. No, bring. Bring. Again, I wait till she calms down. Out. Yes. And then I reward her with a cookie. And you'll see in the following weeks, when I start to progress, it's going to move to a pipe hold where she holds a pipe calmly in her mouth, and then we'll start teaching her a motivational retrieve. So when we throw an item, she'll go pick it up and bring it back to us. So that's the finger hold. All right, this next exercise is called the backwards follow or backwards heel exercise. What it does is it teaches the dog to walk and look up. It's the first step towards teaching focused healing. I'm going to walk backwards. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the food in between my legs as I walk, constantly giving her food as a reward. So she's going to walk the whole time, basically looking up and eating. Once again, first steps towards teaching focused healing. So I'm going to let her smell the food. Now that she smells it, now I'm just walking backwards. Good girl. And I'm letting her take little tiny bites at a time. This way, she's able to focus and continue to walk and continue to get rewarded without me having to constantly reach into my bait bag. She just get little bites of the treat. Again, you notice she's just looking up and walking. She's learning to trust and she's learning to walk while looking up. As you progress with this exercise, you'll start to reward less and less. So maybe you'll walk with it up and then you'll reward her. She's not at that stage yet. So right now I'm just walking backwards, just constantly letting her take bites. You may notice I have some white tape on my hands. Reason for that is because when they're this young, they have razor teeth, and it hurts if you don't add that tape. So that's something you might want to do if you're doing this exercise. As I stop, I wait till she sits down, yes. And then I reward her 2 more. Free, good puppy. Simple exercise, but very important if you want to teach focus healing. Free. If you're competing with your dog, they have to know how to jump. So what this is, it's basically called a jump shoot, and it teaches the dog to time and properly learn how to jump. Usually dogs that don't go through this training have a tendency to hit their knees when they jump. This teaches them to learn how to properly time their jumps. Plus the dogs love it. It's a lot of fun. All you do is you set up something similar to this. Now I'm having to go all the way across so she can't cheat and go around. And this way she's going to learn how to time her jumps properly. And as she gets older, it's going to make her jumping more efficient, and they learn to love jumping by doing this exercise. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to set her down. Once I set her down, I'm going to run through the jump shoot myself, calling her name, praising and kind of motivating her the whole way through. Once she gets to the other side, I'm going to praise and reward her, and then I'm going to set her down and run back the other way. Okay? So I'm going to set her down and I'm going to go. Come on, come on. And then once they get to me, I reward and praise them, and then I do it again. Come on, puppy. Come on, Coda. Good girl, good girl. Oh, and she went around that one little cheater. So we'll do it one more time. Come on, Coda. Come on. Come on, Coda. Coda. Good girl. And skipping that last one once again. But as you see, the more they do it, the more they learn to love how to jump, and it teaches them to properly jump the right way. This exercise is called send-outs, and it's necessary if you're doing AKC obedience or Schitzen obedience. You have to be able to send the dog out on command, and they just continue to run until the judge or evaluator tells you to down or sit your dog. So what I'm going to do to start that is I'm going to put the dog next to me in the proper side. Left side is the heel position. And then I'm going to use my hand to point the dog the direction that I want her to go. Full knife hand, and as I send her, I'm going to use my command. So my command for her is going to be run. You can use any command that you want. And all you do is you put, and this is the first time she's doing it, so I'm going to put her in a sit next to me. And then I'm going to say, run. And I'm going to guide her all the way to the food. Yes, good girl. Mark the behavior. Yeah, good puppy. And then praise her when she comes back. Good girl. And then all I do is I get another piece of food. Place it back on top of the platform that we have. Put her in a sit, and I'm going to tell her to run again. Run. Yes, good girl. And you'll see they quickly pick it up because they enjoy that it's fun. There's a reward at the end. Come here, baby. Come on. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to do this for the next few weeks to a point where I keep moving the item farther and farther away. We don't move the dog away from the item. We move the item farther away from the dog. And then we continue to send her so where I can stand right here and I can tell her run, and she'll run all the way to the item, retrieve whatever it is, eat whatever it is, and come back for praise and reward.